What's up, everybody? It's Coach Kev. The age-old question: which league has the better athletes, the NFL or the NBA? Can an NFL player transition into basketball easier than an NBA player can transition into football? Here's Stephen A. discussing the topic. Let's listen to what he got to say, and let's find out which side of the fence we fall on.
Now, let me get to what I really wanted to talk about in this particular segment. This is NBA players versus NFL players. To touch on this subject that has the internet buzzing, by the way, let's get right into it. ESPN analyst and former NBA player Austin Rivers says he could take 30 NBA players right now and throw them into the NFL. And says on the flip side, you can't go the other way and take 30 NFL players and have them compete in the NBA.
So you see it right here. I could take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them into the NFL, but you cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. What are your thoughts? Austin Rivers coming out, former NBA player, coming out the gates hot with a strong take.
But before I give my take, let me show you a list of former NFL players that played college basketball. Okay. That includes Hall of Famers Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Julius Peppers, and of course the one and only T.O., Terrell Owens. As for NBA players with football ties, mainly in high school, that list includes Allen Iverson, LeBron James, Nate Robinson, and of course Charlie Ward, who won the Heisman at Florida State. I'm going to say this about what Austin Rivers had to say. I can't side with him on that. Now, J.J. Watt clapped right back at him, said, "You're not playing both right now. You know, so why don't you keep your mouth shut?" I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Football is such a physical sport. I understand those offensive linemen that are 330 plus pounds with pot bellies. I understand what you're saying about them.
So for me, 30 is a high number, but are you talking about just athletically? Maybe. For me, I don't think NBA players would like to take those daily lickings, those daily hits, those weekly hits that football players take. But on an athletic standpoint, I do feel like NBA players can transition into the NFL easier than NFL players can transition into the NBA.
So there's a skill set that comes with their position. Bottom line is they ain't the type of dudes that lead you to believe they could play basketball. But free safeties, cornerbacks, hell, strong safeties, wide receivers, running backs. You sure they can't play basketball? You sure you can't find 30 of them? I think so. I got to give props. Micah Parsons, and you know, the bully that he is, beating up on every man, woman, and child during the NBA All-Star Weekend, you know, where he had ringers under him and Puka Nacua. I mean, I couldn't believe what they were doing, just running over women. Didn't care. They out there. But those two brothers could play. Okay? CJ, with the Texans, CJ Stroud, he could play. That's 3 right there. I look at football players. There's a level of punishment you're capable of absorbing, level of durability that kicks in. And again, if you're all talking about somebody being a Steph Curry, you know, or a Devin Booker or Anthony Edwards or somebody, that's different. You trying to tell me some of these brothers couldn't play power forward?
So growing up while playing basketball, we definitely had those friends, those people we played with that were football players and just enjoyed playing basketball as well. And they were just physical. They were running you over. They were playing defense all in your face, a nonstop energy. But the skill level was not usually there. Basketball players, when they just played on the field and just jokingly catch or whatever, they had the athletic ability to play football, jump around, catch the ball, throw the ball not on a dime, but to at least be comparable on the football field. So I think more so basketball players can transition to football than football can transition to basketball from what I've seen growing up.
You trying to tell me if, they couldn't play power forward? They couldn't play any of the forward spots or even center in some degree with some of the girth these brothers have on them? You sure about that? You sure about that? And not only that, because of how phenomenal these football players are in terms of what they can absorb and deal with, I don't know if I ever would have uttered that publicly. Like, yo, y'all can't do this. I wouldn't have done that. I just wouldn't have done that. I'm not vibing with Austin Rivers on that. I know what he's saying. This takes more skill, meaning putting the ball in the basket, ball handling, passing skills, the IQ that comes with it. I get it. I get that. But there's a lot of brothers in the NFL that could do it. I actually agree with J.J. Watt in that regard. When you look at the skill set and what's required, I know it's a big debate over social media. I don't think it should be. There's plenty of football players that could play some basketball. There's plenty of football players that have played basketball. I would have put it past Trayvon Diggs, somebody like that, to be able to play some ball, along with various others. But that's just me. Now, if you just muscle bound and accustomed to hitting people, that's a different animal. But that's just not how I feel about it. All right.
So, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. Do you believe that football, NFL players can transition into the NBA basketball easier or better than basketball players can transition into football? Let me know your thoughts. For me, like I said, I never played at the highest level of football, at the highest level of basketball. But growing up, I've seen basketball players try football and football players try basketball. And from what I've seen growing up and what I've seen my whole life, the easier transition was for the basketball players going into football. The only thing that stops most basketball players from playing football is the hitting. Consistently getting hit every single day, whether it's practice, whether it's in games. They do not want to take that type of punishment. They'd rather play on the basketball court where it's still physical, but you're not going to get run over by a 350 muscle bound, running a 4.40 type Amazon of a man. So that's the reason I feel like more basketball players don't play football. I've seen the football players try basketball. They're just running people over. They're literally playing football they're literally playing basketball like they play football, which is just running over people, playing that high-intensity defense all up in your face. I got you running, elbowing, pushing. So the skill level usually isn't there for the football players trying the basketball. But for the basketball trying other sports, even football, I feel like the skill level is usually higher than the football players trying basketball. So like I said, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. For me, I'm going to side with basketball. The NBA, they are the most skilled athletes in the world. If you don't believe so, I don't know what to think about. I don't know what you're thinking about. I don't know what your thoughts are. If you don't think that the NBA have the most skilled players in the world, that's my thoughts. Till next time, this is Coach Cav, and I'm out of here.